My bad. I was muted. I muted myself when I started or when I ended the stream last time, and I saw it even right now, but then I forgot about it. So control flow in Angular is coming in version 17, and we also have the Angular language service introducing those. So this is going to be amazing. So we will have the blog, not the blog. We will have the control flow statements just like this. This is super nice. I'm not really sure if we should use this in the workshop or not. I think maybe it's too early. Yeah, I don't think so. Is it too low? Still too low? Hmm. How about now? Is it good? I think it should be good. Mm-hmm. Awesome. So let's close this guy, this guy, this. Let's see if anyone gave response to that. Uh, okay, we got 2 responses for the talk that we gave. Good, good, good. Awesome. Mukaddar Ali Jamali. Perfect. Awesome. Cool. So I'm really happy about the control flow coming to Angular. And today we are going to look into AstroJS that I'm using to build this workshop. So let me open the mouse highlighter. Everybody should be able to hear me well. Let's remove this guy. What happened to this? Hmm. This does not look right, but okay. Okay, let's move this guy. Let's open this again. I'm going to show you what it looks like so far. So git pull. I did change data.json. Okay. So npm or run dev. Is it dev? Yeah, it is dev. Hmm. I remember reducing the JSON file. Yes. Cool, cool, cool. And then we should also have the where's my ng flight scanner? Work in progress. No, ng flight. I think this is the one. Is this the one? This should be purple if this is the one. Let's see. So this one should be pulled. Okay, I have stage changes. Okay. Let's revert those. There we go. Git pull. There we go. Git log. Okay, so far what we have implemented is actually this, and this should be in 4321. Okay, let's open this, and we also have the application right here as well. So localhost 4200, and this should spin up as soon as the Angular project runs. Give me 1 second. Where are you? Release notes close. This guy, and we should run npm start. Awesome. So we look into where we were with the workshop so far. So those of you who don't know what we're talking about here, we are building a workshop that is going to happen in one of the events uh, in October, and it's a workshop that I'm going to give with Santosh, who is also a Google developers expert as well. So we are going to give a workshop on we're going to give it together on Angular 02 Hero. And so far we've set this up. So we have the basic CLI setup. We have tailwind CSS. We also have my voice got low again for some reason, right? I think there's some problem with the microphone setting it automatically to the low value. I'm gonna see if there's something wrong with my mic. Let's see. So I have manual gain right here. Let's see. Auto level, mic mute. No, no, no. It should be near. Yes. Let's go with dark. We can also say later. And is my voice clear now? Okay. Or I think let's keep it auto level for now. So far in the end, we went for creating the components, the flight card component. Okay. And I think in the application, I went apart from this. So we do have the flight card component, and this is built with Angular itself. And I can search by flights. For example, I can say just Indonesia. And you can see that it works. Then also I can I'm gonna grab my laptop and see if if I worked on the if I worked on this workshop on my laptop, because I don't remember if I have. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna be right back. Going to be right back. Okay. All right, I'm back. So Zishan says, Assalamu alaikum Hassan bhai, please bring something for React.js lover. Yes, absolutely. The problem is I don't have enough time at the moment to do that, but I do have that in the plans. So hopefully very soon, inshallah. Inshallah. Workshop dogs. Let's see if I have anything that I've not got. Oh yes, I worked on some stuff. I thought so. Highlight. Let me push my code and then I can Oh, I've actually implemented something that Astro does not have. So I've implemented something that AstroJS doesn't have, and that is the code highlighting part. So in here you can see that I cannot really highlight my code, but I built something that can help with that. So I'm going to show you in a bit. So Angular signals, I did update some of the things there. Yup. A lot of things there. Do. Flying with Firebase. I also added something with Firebase as well. That's good. I think I should just push the code. So let's see. I'm gonna push the code. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Add git commit. Work in progress. Firebase. Firebase. Feature. Oh, we also added the added code highlighting. Why Angular? Why not Angular? I'm usually the person who says don't ask a question against a question, but okay. Why Angular? Good question. So one of the things that if you're new to the channel, I am a Google acknowledged expert in Angular, and I've been working with Angular for the past 10 years. I've worked with React for the past 7 years. And with what I've worked so far, I find Angular much more robust and scalable, and also easy to work with when you switch different companies and different teams. So it makes much more sense for enterprise applications because it's not a tiny library, it is a framework. And then if you have a big company and you have developers where developers might switch to different teams, it makes it much easier for an Angular developer to just switch to another team because the mindset or how we code is quite similar. So being in the position and the roles where I was a software architect, I was also part of the process of the hiring. I was also part of the process of the deliveries of different products, and different sub features as well even. But then managing the team as well. I've been into different roles where I was part of the hiring process as well. When I was in Klarna for 2 years, I think in my last year I took 90 interviews in 1 year, and I've taken interviews in other companies as well. So I found it much easier when it comes to Angular to scale your applications with or without a senior engineer in the team. If you're working with anything else, which doesn't have an opinionated way of doing things, I think that makes it a bit difficult. It's not wrong or the bad way of doing it, but it just takes more management. And I think the time I've spent with Angular and the enthusiasm that the Angular team has, and the way they're progressing now, which we are calling Angular Renaissance, or how do you pronounce that? Sorry, I can speak English, but I'm not a native English speaker, so I'm gonna have to Google here. So Google how do you pronounce that? No, I know you understand me, but I want to know. Renaissance. I was close. What is your take on Angular versus React versus Vue? I think all of them are doing a pretty good job. All of them are obviously trying to become a better version of them. I think the rivalry, as they say, is more among the consumers than the producers of these frameworks and languages, or not languages but frameworks and libraries. I think the learning curve, one of the more common opinions is that the learning curve between React versus Angular, for example, is very different because you can learn React really easily. But the fact is that yes, you learn React pretty fast, but it's a tiny library, and the concepts in React are pretty small as well. Like, how do you render your component, how do you manage your state, and that's pretty much it. When it comes to Angular, you also have to learn, because it's not a library, it's a framework. It takes much more time to it's take a bit more time, not much more time, to learn the concepts and sort of getting a hang of it. And I think that's where the false sort of assumption comes in, that it has a huge curve, blah blah blah. I think if you have to build the same application with Angular versus React, and you try to give it to someone who's new to either of those, you're gonna find that they will take almost exactly the same time. Because if you start with React, yes, you learn React pretty early, pretty quickly, but then you have to learn about how to do routing. For that, you have to choose a package. You're gonna make API calls. You have to use a package. You have to manage state. You have to use a package unless you're doing component level states, which is use state, for example, or you're using use reducer, or you're using the context API in React. So it really depends on where you draw the line. But I think the time it takes for someone to actually build an application from scratch, having little to no knowledge of either React or Angular, I think it's going to be the same. So I think it's up to us what we pick. The difference of the performance also, I don't think it's much, to be honest. I think it's like 1920 or 2019, whatever you want to call it. It's really, really close. So I think it's just a matter of preference, and also a matter of opportunities as well. What about Vue versus Angular? I've heard that for Vue is pretty fast. It's nice and fast. I've never used it myself, or I have never done benchmarks, to be honest, to give a strong opinion. But I've heard that it's really, really fast. I know Angular is really fast as well, but I don't have the benchmark. So I know that with Vue, the experience is more or less like React. So it has sort of the similar concepts. When it comes to that, I do know that the community with Vue is much more involved compared to the community in the React, or with sort of just having the good ecosystem of things to work with. But I don't have exact numbers or benchmarks to say, all right, one versus the other. I think it's always going to be like a matter of choice or a matter of preference, because when we actually use, for example, in the companies I worked with, one of the decisions is obviously to go X versus Y, um, go with React or with Angular. So one of the I mean, the technology itself is just one part of the decision. The majority of the discussion is what kind of team do we have today, where do we want to go in 2 years, for example, what kind of team do we want to build in the coming years. If we want support from enterprise, from libraries or from tools that we want to use for enterprise application, for example, a third party UI design library, do we go with Angular or do we go with React? And we look for what are the available choices for such libraries or design libraries today, and how much support do they give, what are the price, how quick the service is, what is the rating of those things. So there goes many of those decisions. So it's not just, all right, everybody's using X today, so let's use X. So I think it takes a lot of, it takes a lot of factors before you actually make a decision. And I think this is sort of a wrong perception in the community that if something comes like this and it's new, everybody's gonna just jump on it like crazy. No, I don't think that happens. So for example, one of the things that I was struggling with recently was I I worked on a book called the Angular Cookbook. I can probably show it to you. And we launched it 2 years ago. And we have like 4.6 ratings, or sorry, 4.3 rating out of 5, about 46 ratings. I saw people still are buying this, and we are also working on, or I'm also working on the second edition of it. And in November, Angular is releasing a lot of new features, and my brain got frozen, and it was like, all right, I've been working on this new edition for about 8 months now, and now we're talking about new features. What? But yeah, the reality is we have new features in place, but if you take a statistics of how many people who would buy the book would have the latest version of Angular being used, because we have so many enterprises, because we have so many consumers of Angular which are not going to be on the latest version of it. And same goes with React, same goes with Vue. So the fact that following the hype train, I don't think that's real. A lot of people make it so, but I think when it comes to actual companies making decisions, and sensible companies making decisions which have clients to work with, which basically care more about if their product is working for the clients than what the product is built with. And that is the reality of most of the companies, to be honest. So it's really important to analyze that when we talk about different frameworks, or if we compare different frameworks, we would have to still look at a lot of factors apart from just saying, all right, this versus that, which is the best one. And the best one question that often boggles my mind, because I don't usually have an answer for that at all. So I hope that makes sense. I'm not really sure when I'll get a chance to actually work on something with Vue. That's gonna be so much fun. But yeah, I'm not really sure when that's gonna happen. Work in progress, and flight scanner. Can I please go there? Generate data. I don't want that. All right, I do have some changes in this as well. Maybe I should create a branch. I think I should create a branch. Git checkout B Firebase. Oh, I need to also push git checkout B Firebase. Git add git commit Work in progress. Firebase. What am I doing here? Am I trying to connect with Firestore? Da da da. Yeah, I was working with the favorite flights, right? Yeah. Okay. So Firebase, favorite flights. We can do that. Sorry, I'm just working on the other computer and then I'm gonna switch to the actual one. All right. Git push. Cool. There we go. And then we can quickly go to pull the code and we can quickly switch to the branch as well. In Lord Nick says, in my work, but I'm not a front end developer, I find that Angular have hard way to put people on established project. But for React Native, Vue is much easier. Sorry, I'm having bad cough. Yeah, so when it comes to Angular developers, if you are getting someone who is an experienced Angular developer, let's say have worked with one year at least, you're gonna find it much easier. To be honest, I'm not sure what was the level of the people that you got. If you are having someone fresh on a React or Vue.js project, yes, it's gonna be easier because it's less to learn in that case, and you have more flexibility, so you can do this the X or the Y way, if that makes sense. So I've worked with React teams as well. Obviously, Vue is a lot more component based, as you said already. I mean, React is also component based, but the reality is that if you pick any framework that has components, right? For example, in Angular here, if we look at this particular application, oh, I have to also install the packages. But if you look at this application, we have components. For example, we have the app component, we have the flight card that we just saw, we have the header component, we have the home component. So the structure, I mean, I can build the same thing with React and I can build the same application with Angular as well. So they are pretty similar. But with Angular, it's a framework, so it has an opinionated way of doing things. For example, ideally you're not really supposed to have your API calls directly API calls from your component. So this is my, let's say, my home component. I want to get flights or the data from my API about flights in my home component. If I do this in React, I'm also not going to implement the fetch directly on the component, but that's because I'm a senior engineer. I want to have separation of concerns and I also want to have the the components being testable. So I will not put everything here because that makes it really hard to test components. If you are putting everything in there, then I would have to mock fetch and I would have to do other things as well. But if I move my fetch calls into another file in React, I'm still talking about React. If I move my API calls to a file and I put all my API calls right there, then in my test, for example, if this was home component in React, I would just go into the spec.ts and I would just mock that file. If I mock that file, then I don't really have to a global mock fetch, and I can then just say, all right, if I'm trying to call, let's say, on component init or use effect with empty array, if I'm saying, all right, I want to get the API call, I would just put in my test that in order to have my component rendered in the beginning, does it call that function from that file? And that's pretty much my test. And I can mock what that function returns, so I wouldn't have to mock the global fetch. So that's just a design decision. It's one of those things that you think about. In Angular, you're not supposed to have by opinions in the community the HTTP call right here. And because of the same reason, you will see things like services. So every service is supposed to make the HTTP calls, and this is one of those things that when someone actually comes into a team, they will have to learn these things. Like why the question would be like, why can't I just put a fetch call right here in this case? And then also there are things like Angular has this way of not using promises. So when you work with JavaScript or Vue or React, you will be using regular JavaScript, and in Angular it's not really promises or JavaScript promises, but if you look at this, it's going to return essentially an observable, so you have to learn that as well. Once you get a hang of it, then it's really easy to move between projects because every Angular project uses almost the same thing. I've worked with React teams and I've seen within the same team developers using completely different ways of how they code. Some people have their HTTP calls right inside their component files, some have them in in other files. Some are using a singleton pattern for creating a class for the API calls. Someone is using this, someone is using a package to do that. So it becomes really different. So when someone comes into a team, for example, in React and Angular, and you don't have someone to supervise that, you don't have a senior in the team, then they will find it easy because they can do whatever they want. So they come in, they have to learn the basic concepts of React, and then yeah, they can essentially do anything. With Angular, you have to, if you are following a project structure, then you would have to follow the same things in general. And that's because you have something opinionated. So yeah, here's how I handle it. uh let's have a look. You do a create app, you have this, you have register plugins, app.mount, but you're looking at the app.js, right? So resources app.js. So you have Axios instance. Okay. And then you're exporting this, so I'm assuming you're using this everywhere then. Let's see your component. So you have example component, navbar component.view. Mm-hmm. When you mount, you get the navigation menu. Then when you get the navigation menu, then you do the post. Okay. And then you console log it, then you set the navigations to it, and then it should render right here with the loop, I'm assuming. What do you use in Vue? Is it for V4? Okay, cool. Hmm, that makes sense. It seems pretty intuitive in general. I think this is the first time I'm watching a Vue.js based code. Mm-hmm. Okay, and when you register components, you just do app view navbar. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Where do you use the app navbar component, or which is your actual? Okay, so these are your views. Are you using your views directly in your okay, navigation blade, notifications are blade, PHP. Okay, interesting. So is the front end, is it a separate application, or is it embedded into your PHP views or Laravel views? I'm assuming it's embedded. It's all together, yeah? Yeah, yeah. Cool. Because yeah, you can essentially add any front end layer on top of Laravel. Cool. Okay, that makes sense. So then the question is, if you can, since you have Laravel, oh, okay, maybe a stupid question, but would, so for example, for this post, I don't see any data that separates this from anyone. So I'm assuming every person gets the same post, right? For the navigations. So so the question is, shouldn't this come directly from PHP? Or because there's no personalization here, so everybody would get the same, or would get the same menu. So we could completely avoid this component. Yes, no? It's late for me. Yes, the PHP handle. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so if the PHP handles all the logics, then this doesn't make sense to do on on the API call or when the front end mounts. And you only do it when the component mounts. So you have the possibility to just send the rendered content from the backend, which makes that which will avoid this API call on the front end at all, completely, because yeah, that's the same data you can send back from the backend. But yes, I understood your point. So PHP gets all the logic. I think with the recent things that has been happening in, for example, HTMX as well, it's all coming back to the PHP world. Like send a call to the backend, give me some HTML, and I'll render it. No JavaScript at all. But yeah, cool. I think example component view. What does this do? Mount. Okay, cool. Mm-mm-mm. Display flex. What are you using your for CSS? Is it Bootstrap? I think it's Bootstrap, right? Align item center. No, it's not Bootstrap. Use your own. Okay. Nice. And this is how you define styles which are scoped into this particular component. Nice. I mean, Vue looks nice. It seems like it's if you know JavaScript and HTML and CSS, that's all you need to know. You don't need to learn anything else. I think one of the major reasons for this perception of Tableau.io. Okay, this perception of taking more time to learn Angular or having this curve also is because of TypeScript. But then now everybody wants to use TypeScript, apart from the uh, recent changes that have been happening in the Svelte world. But I think, yeah, TypeScript is something that I think Vue also has adopted. I think there is also Vue.js TypeScript. Is it? Yeah, Vue.js TypeScript. Yeah, using Vue TypeScript. Yep, cool. Yeah, awesome. So the thing is, Angular was with TypeScript like since forever. I'm not really. I mean, since Angular 2. I'm not really sure what was the year when it came out. Maybe it was 2015, if I remember it correctly. That was when Angular 2 was in alpha, and then I was I was working on it. Okay, check out Firebase. Thank you. Let's do npm install. Am I using npm or yarn? I think I'm using npm. Let's go with npm install. I can show you my blog post. Awesome. What is this about? The evolution of programming languages. Nice. I'm gonna give you a follow. Oh, you CTO at the company? Awesome. The dawn of high-level languages, 1915, Fortran, Lisp, COBOL. Uh-huh. Nice. This is nice. I was 4 years old when this came out. Uh-huh, okay. Was PHP the first one to use Echo? Because now I see that in Bash as well, or Bash script as well. I'm not sure if PHP was the first one. It's 23 years of work. Whoa, awesome. Awesome. I still know that Lua is pretty much still used in a lot of low-level programming, right? Yeah. I think I was looking into NeoVim. I got this urge to actually go into Vim, and then I was looking into NeoVim and customization, and then I think that was the time I looked at Lua for the first time. I didn't understand a word. J sharp, Scala, F sharp, Go, Rust. Was it 2010? Wow, it has been some time. I think it has just started becoming popular. In Klarna, we were also using Elm. Rust is awesome. Should I give it a try? Do you think I'm gonna migrate away from TypeScript if I do so? Because I've only been working with Node.js, and sometimes I think about it, and I'm like, oh, should I expand my horizons, or should I keep doing what I do good, and that is front end essentially? But I have a tab in my work PC that is the basics of or Rust crash course. So maybe I'll look into it. But before that, check my fun projects with Vue.js. Oh yeah, absolutely. Give me 1 second. Does it show my PC's information or no? Action log. What do I need to do here? Oh, interesting. Nice. Type verb 16. verb. Oh, I need to type it. Do I need to type it or just say? Oh, okay. Let's see. Ah, okay. Got you. So verb 16. No. Click it. I clicked verb and then I clicked 16. There we go. And then I hit enter. And noun 65. Ah, okay. Sorry. Let's do this again. So verb 16. And then you said and noun should be 65. Okay. On LCD is showing yes. I think the color contrast could have been a bit better so I could see. And now what do I do? Hit enter. Okay. Aha. So it sends this to the okay. But where does it show the clock? Okay. So time minute verb 34 time minute. Okay. Show time this position of the optics. Interesting. I have no clue what this is. This makes me nervous. Check the source code. What are you running here? Ah, okay. Interesting. Interesting. How much time did you take to? Yeah, I can see the view part right here. How much time did you take to build this? 30 minutes. Ooh, fancy. I think what I built would be this. I'm not sure if it's part of this repository. No, it's not part of this one. It's with this one. I built this guy with Angular. So it's the classic 2048. Pretty addictive. I stream on Twitch too about different programming topics and do podcasts. Awesome. Then I can look into it as well. I th- I've I've built a few interesting projects. For example, I had one colleague named Josephine in my last company, and as a parting gift, I built this for her. So she used to talk about a lot of she used to say a lot of weird stuff, and someone from the community, someone from the office would just notice them and would write them out. So I built an app for that. So the person who notices can actually go here and write those. So I also built this sneaky feature for them to actually write that, and I noticed that they still do that. So that's a good one. And I also built this thing as well during a hackathon, I think last year or the year before, which essentially is a memory game. So you can actually create a lobby, and then you can invite people in. Can I type it? Yeah. You can invite people in, and then you can also play a game in real time. Do you want to give it a shot? Let's see if I can create this. I'm not really sure where uh, I actually did it. I can share this. So this one was really nice. I think I streamed it on, or actually I know I streamed it, and it took about 16 hours of stream, and to build it from scratch with both the front end and the back end for this one. So I think if you click it, if you click the link, you should be in here, and it might ask, do you want to join? Or I could do it from here. If it doesn't work the first time, just try doing it twice. and then you will see it. Yeah, there you go. And if we start this, good luck. You have to match these cards that match together. So easy peasy. It's gonna check your memory game. Mine doesn't seem too good so far. Oh no. This one. This one. No. This one and this one. There you go. Awesome. What was your score? 25. Okay. Not too bad. Good, good, good. So yeah, this was built with the I think this was built with Angular, Nest.js for the backend, which was also on in TypeScript. I I believe I used MongoDB for the database, and also the whole sort of navigation on how, like, when you create a lobby and everyone is in the lobby, and then when you want to go to the round, and then if you want to go to the scoreboard, so that also sort of um that's handled with Firebase. So Firebase real-time messages basically calls all of this. Do you know MySQL? Yes, I used to work with MySQL back in the days. Right now, I use PostgreSQL for this, or Postgres, quite a lot. But I consider myself more of a front-end developer or architect rather than back-end. So I can Google how to optimize queries. Or I've done it quite a few times. For example, one of the things I'm recently working with is this product. It's not finalized yet, but I have some consumers who are already using this. So this application essentially is built for taking feedback from speakers, or when you're giving a talk or a session. If you want to have a dashboard that you can see, or someone from the team can see on how the people feel while you're speaking, this is for exactly that. So for example, if I want to take feedback on this particular session, I can share the link with everyone, and they will be able to say if how the session was. So they can give some star ratings. They can also say it was a good pace, it was too slow, it was too fast. They can also just add a comment here as well, and then as an organizer you can see those. So this is in the very very initial stages for this one. I have to add a lot of things. I have the architecture ready, that is the database and the entities and everything. So I do have all the things ready, but I don't have the front end ready at the moment. So we'll see how that goes. When I teach or have seminars, I always ask people why WTID ID int. Oh, okay. It's enigma of int in my. Okay, interesting. Yeah. But where you're from originally, or where are you at now? Do you know the answer? No, I don't. I don't think I have enough experience to give the answer. Aha. I'm gonna have to have a deeper look at it in my free time, but I'll definitely give it a go. Interesting. When did you publish that? On 5th October. Aha, interesting. The int 11 disappears. Interesting. But I'm gonna have give it a go. I do want to finish the I do want to finish the workshop, so I don't have to do it tomorrow. And I hopefully have a sync with my co-speaker tomorrow, so I do have things ready for him as well. Alrighty. So let's have a quick look at the app. So the app works. That's nice. And what? No, it should still work. Okay, so I don't have the environment, of course, which is because I haven't pushed it. So I'm going to quickly add the environments as well. I think I'm going to have to do it the old school way of actually copy pasting it. Where are you? environment.ts. There you go, environments. So let's give it to you, and let's see if I can find myself. I love the possibility of talking to myself on Slack, WhatsApp, and whatnot. So let's see. I'm gonna quickly does it work? .env. Oh, the drop. It's now that you have asked it, yes, it works. The only problem is that I have built a Chrome extension to make it work, and the problem is if this tab goes away for a while, I don't know why the extension stops working. I have no clue. I will look into it and maybe talk to some people at Chrome because I have some contacts, so I'm gonna ask them. But yes, this should work. This was the Chrome extension that I built that essentially takes your restream messages from here. It then translates them into what it should do, and then it forwards them into this overlay that I have in my stream, and then you see yourself hanging out in the chat. So this should work. Does work.env. I In Angular you do have something called ngx environment something something, but I don't use that. I do have an environment ts file that I have the environment in, and I want to use that. I'm just gonna copy paste the stuff right now from that. But when deploying this to actually production, I will have to use the ngx env to move it there. So I'm gonna quickly create environments. Why do I say that? Environment.ts. There we go. Put this guy right there. And should it be happy now? Should it be in source? Yeah, it should be in source, not in app. So source environment. Move. Good. And I think I should have, sorry, give me just 1 second. There we go. Awesome. I'm gonna do npm start and let's see if this guy works now. Hopefully it does. Awesome. And I'm gonna get rid of Slack as well. Cool, it does. Lars says, cool stuff, man. Side now, NG17 is fucking awesome. I'm already using V17 Next 7 internal production, and I just love the new template syntax. Differs crazy, game changer in my honest opinion. Lars, yes, absolutely. I'm in love with the control flow. I love how the team is going forward, man. It's truly amazing. I think there was a time when the Angular team was working on the core Vue engine, IV. For those of you who don't know, and I think there was a time where we did not really hear a lot of improvements apart or features. We did learn about small things here and there, but I think after IV, the Angular team has been able to push like crazy new features. I absolutely love them. You're using the V17 Next 7. Should I upgrade my app to it? Now this is for the workshop, right? And I have to give this workshop on, I think it's on 20th of October, so not too far. Um, but I don't want to confuse them with weird stuff yet. Did you try Bun? Not yet. I have been so consumed with a lot of things. So I'm trying to stay focused at the moment to not get into the rabbit hole. I'm also trying to not be a person who has a fear of missing out. Uh, yes, I'm trying to stick to the plan as much as possible. I do get this FOMO quite a lot, and I'm like, okay, no, should I talk about this? Because I've been willing to look into or doing a stream about the control flow for about 3 weeks now, and I have not been able to do so. So we'll see. When you try Rust, make ULPFEC. This is fun. ULP. What is that? Why are you coming up with words that I don't know, Mr. CTO? ULPFEC. This is fun. Unequal level protection, forward error correction. Oh, okay. I bet my boss knows that because he is a Rust developer. Until next 16, you had to add support for the new syntax flow in TS-config, but next it's not enabled by default. Zero issues so far. The Vue transition API is here with Angular. I'm not really. Oh, I didn't know that. Is it? Is it? Is it? Is it? That's gonna be super amazing. I did use it. I did use the Vue transition API. I think 6 to 7 months ago, when I think the Chrome team was talking about it quite a lot. I implemented it on my blog, on my site. So for example, here, if you go, for example, here, you see it, right? Let's give it this a go. There you go. So I implemented this in Next.js, but I would love to use them in Angular as well. And then I also have to try out what comes out from Analog and Angular to see if I can build something similar. I think I also added that to the course as well, if I remember correctly. So if I go here, yeah, it does that for the main avatar. So yeah, it goes there. Cool. But I did not implement the back transition. But it was not easy. I do know that the Chrome Aurora team and Astro has done quite a good job with the Vue transition API, but I have to try it myself. It is already using it amazing. I have to make a note for this. I think from this stream I'm getting too many nice things to look into, like ULP what FEC and also the Vue transition. By the way, Lars, I asked this, I think, in the GD sync as well. But what do you think? I wanted your opinion on something. So I'm also gonna say, sorry, just give me 1 second. Control flow and next 7. Yeah, no problem. Do you think that at this moment, or let's say for the next 6 months, from what you know about the companies you might have worked with, do you think majority of them would have migrated to V17 and would be interested in both signals and the control flow, especially signals? Or do you think that it's too early, and a lot of people would still be on, maximum V15? Because the reason I'm asking is that I'm the author of the Angular Cookbook, and I'm working on the second edition now, and I've been working on it for the past 7 to 8 months. And now I'm at a point where I had planned to have one single chapter about Angular signals at the end, or and as a bonus chapter, as an additional chapter. But now I'm questioning, coming, for example, the control flow is here, or we have the blogs and we have the differ. We also have the Vue transition API, as you said. Now, the question that I have in my mind is, should I incorporate signals more into the chapters before, because I have 13 chapters that include component communication, Angular animations, we have unit tests, we have end-to-end tests, we also have a state management with NGRX. I mean, there's so many things where signals could be useful. We also have performance optimization in Angular as well. So, excuse me. So, yeah, I'm actually thinking, what should I do? Because now I have shifted from one chapter that contains Angular signals to one chapter that contains what's new in V17, and I think that's gonna run for a while, because I don't want the people to lose focus or have something that's not helpful for a long time. But we do have, I think, one of the things that I'm really happy about with the book is, previously we had 80 plus projects with the first edition of the book, and every project was an Angular project. Now we have just two, because I moved to NX. So now I have just two repositories to update, and that updates every single chapter. So that's gonna be fine. That's gonna be interesting. Um, Provide router routes with view transition. Aha, interesting. I gotta have a look at that. I'm gonna write this down as well. Notepad. I finally summoned you for some information I want to keep, but I will not save this document. All right. Great stream, by the way. Thanks. No problem. Thank you so much for being here. Hard to say, but the good thing is that it's not either or. You can update your component without issues. The biggest hurt of all the material components update in V15. Yeah, yeah, awesome. Yeah, I agree. I think one of the major issues that I faced when I was working at Synchron as an architect, and I was building the design system with material, was just not being able to compose the directives. Or for example, when I was working, I think it was Angular V13 or V14. I can't really remember. Maybe V14, and we had to wrap each component that material had into our component because we were creating our own library. But with the directive composition API, that became much nicer. And I think with what we have today, it's absolutely amazing. Like the Vue transition API, signals, I can't imagine like that library or that design system that we created. If we just integrate or upgrade to what Angular has today, it's gonna be super awesome. And every product that we had in the company would benefited from it so much. Lord Nick says, when I write chapters, I always make sure I don't give only one, but I give options for the reader to choose. Yes, that's good. For example, yeah, I mean, for the chapters that I have also include a lot of things. So not just one approach, but multiple. The problem is I don't want to make this, and my camera's gonna die, so I'm gonna have to replace the battery. But in general, I don't want to. I want to keep the basic information that I had in the book that people already love to to as the same for someone new coming to Angular, so they don't really just get the latest and the greatest, but the basics with good examples. So I think um, that is what my goal is. So not to just go with, hey, just look at what new cool stuff we have here, but rather, or these are the core concepts with Angular that you actually need to learn and study and practice, and then you can work on enterprise applications. So I think still I'm gonna go with a chapter that includes what's new. So just an introduction of all of these things, because previously I was looking at Angular signals and I was like, okay, if I want to use Angular signals and I also want to talk about Angular signals, but then also like the signal itself, then the computed, then the effect, and that makes three different recipes. But then if you add just one more thing to each recipe, then you have to do a lot of effort and come up with a real use case for why you were not using a computed before and now why are you using it now. So if I go with these different topics, then I think it would be much easier to construct those recipes and just introduce with the concepts. For the view transition, just add that to your config and add the CSS, find a similar example, and boom. Yeah, I think the CSS obviously, sorry, is the tough part. Yes. Problem with one way is the problem that they just don't do experiments and see how code evolve, like it's copy paste from its Stack Overflow, no learning, just using. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I agree. Yes. I think with the recipes in the book, it's gonna at least give them the initial idea, but I'm not really sure how we can expand that. I thought of a lot of things. For example, having more quizzes, more exercises on the side. The reality is, I will have to take out time to actually implement that. Right now, I am doing one thing that I'm happy about, and that is for every example that they'll do, they will be essentially redirected to or they will have in the header a link to my site where they can go and learn more and have and do more exercises and or just give feedback about the book. So no matter what recipe they're following, if they open the Angular app that they are supposed to work with, they will still have a way to interact with me. So I think I can add more on top of that. Just giving one example, for example, as you said, Lord or Nick, that we introduce with one concept, but then we give them more options. When I do job interviews and mentoring, I use one method that many senior CTO miss out. It's NLP. Yeah, which method do you use? Do you use mirroring? Do you look at their eyes and see if they're thinking or if they're an introvert or are they recalling some information? If you understand what I mean. I've done NLP course myself as well. just like the textbook. Okay, yeah. I think when it comes to NLP, it really depends on where you want to go. Yeah, yeah, I understand. I think it's really important to have those. I mean, yeah, when it comes to mentoring, NLP comes really, really in good use. I think when it comes to mentoring itself, I don't recall purposely um doing NLP or consciously doing it, but it comes now naturally. For example, even in my job, where I'm in where I'm a head instructor, I also do exercises like, for example, the circle of excellence when it comes to NLP on how you want to feel. Also, stupid things like imagining weird stuff. Yeah, it's interesting. I do programming for many years, and I see people do programming or just use what is already written on the web. Yeah, true. All right. Now I have a bunch of tabs from you to look at. I'll definitely have a look. Did I finish? Oh, I finished the implementation. That's good. No problem. No problem. Okay, so that's good. Then I don't need to do, I think then I don't need to implement anything. I just need to document it. So this is the app that we are going to build in the workshop that I'm going to conduct. I think I should also have an about section as well. But in this one, we are using Angular signals. We are also using Firebase for marking things as favorite or not. And this goes to Firebase. So that's also pretty nice. Give me the feedback when you read it off camera. For sure. No problem at all. No problem at all. So let's have a look at the documentation as well. Where are we? Do we have the Firebase? Did I pull the code? No? Yes? No? I don't think so. I need to pull the code. Git pull. So one of the things that I implemented with Astro is this guy right here. So previously, or AstroJS doesn't have a highlighting or the support for highlighting code snippet. So I implemented something that actually does that now, and I'm super proud of it. But I don't really know if this is the right way to do things. So what you see right here, the highlighting stuff, that's custom built in now in the workshop. I'm not sure how I'm gonna be releasing it, but we will see. We'll see. But I'm super, super happy about this one. Um, Let me show you what I do. I think I created a directive, highlight.astro. Yeah, this one. So I just go through every code snippet and then I parse it. If I find an HL config, which is the highlight config of which lines I do want to highlight, then it essentially just parses that. Um, it styles them as having opacity if it's not supposed to be highlighted, and just the ones that are highlighted keep their opacities remaining. So for example, for this one, if you look at this span line, you can see this opacity is 0.5, but the one that should be highlighted, for example this one, the opacity is 1. So only for the ones which are supposed to be highlighted are 1. I think if I needed to do it otherwise, or I couldn't think of an easier way of doing it. Also, I was coding at 3 a.m. That's not the most productive time as well. But yes, I think I'm gonna look into if I can make this a plugin for Starlight so people can start using this. But I think it's gonna be really helpful for those who are documenting this. Okay. so so far what we have done is, and I'm gonna take a short break. I have some coffee left, so I'm gonna warm this up, and I'm also gonna have some water, and then I'm gonna be back. So I'll be right back in about 5 minutes. Then I'll see you then. And this is supposed to say 5 minutes, not 1 minute. So I'm gonna fix that as well. Poof. All right, we're back. Just forgot something. There we go. Awesome. So let's quickly implement the rest of the documentation. Okay. So market the flights as favorite node. We use files IDs of da 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 da. Okay, cool. So this is the all right. Maybe we should first say um here we could okay. Let's see. So in here we can probably say let's start with updating the home component for uh favorite bar rate. So we start with that, then we can look at what we did in the home component. So far here what we've done is set up Firebase. We got the Firebase database that we have to enable. Setting up hosting, yes, we did that. Add Angular Fire to the project, yeah, we had some interesting challenges there, but I think we resolved them. That's nice. Favorite flights with Firestore, yep. So we created the favorite flight. Oh yeah, I think that is where we hmm hmm that's where I was a bit concerned, because we thought about creating favorite flights, but actually we never actually implement that. So we don't have to create the favorite flights component. So let's not do that. Favorite flights with Firestore. Da, 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 da. So in here, don't want to have that. And from here as well. Let's remove those. Let's remove this guy as well. Okay, I think let's go with this. So we okay, functionality. Let's then we need to go to our home component. What did we do there? Let's see. So uh the first thing that we need here is not this guy, is to inject the Firestore service. Then we need to go to collection data, or now that I think about it, I think we should rather hmm, if we break this into different steps, we would have to first implement toggle flight. Then we okay, cool. So I think we can say let's start by actually adding. So we can say let's start with updating a home component. Da, 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 da. Inject the Firestore service. So we have the Firestore service. Uh, as follows. So we add that right here, and then we can say something like da 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 ts. Oops, ts, and we have this whole thing here. This we don't want any of this in the beginning, not the delete dog as well. We don't really want. I mean, we do want the other things, but not really. So we can just say dot dot dot. Mm, I actually You can remove this one as well. So which lines are we talking about? So one, uh, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6. HL config 6. Do I write it like this? HL config? No, we write it like just simple. Config 6, and then so from 55 to 50 we got 6, and then we have 16, 26, 30. I think we go with the 30. Okay, so let's see. So we got Astro highlighted right here. And also this guy as well. I think we can remove the. I think we can remove this guy as well. Um, this guy right here. Uh, mm -mm. Mm, I don't know. Can we do this? For consistency, we can say this one as well. Oh, no. What? I started changing in the actual file. That's not good. This is the one I need to change in. So this should be this. This should be this as well. Now I don't have anything highlighted, so this is gonna be so we had 6, 16, 22. There we go. Cool. I think this looks nice. I mean, we could have shortened this further as well. I could just say this right here looks like this. Now we are further short on this one. So then this is 18. Good, good, good. Okay, so we add the home in the home component. Then we can say and here now we can say now we will add a function to toggle to mark unmark a flight as favorite. For this, we will create a to keep all the favorited flight IDs in the record, so we can reference that in the template. This is much performant for our use case compared to having an array of favorited flights or even an array of IDs of the flights. Okay. So we have that. Then what we should be doing is, then we can copy this guy, paste this again, and then we can remove more stuff. So this one, let's copy this guy right here. So component, nothing changes here. We're not afraid of, we're not concerned about that. We don't want to have anything in here. We don't want to have anything in here. ng on init. Not really. Toggle flight is something that we are looking at. So in this one, we do use get dog and delete dog and set dog. All right. So get dog, dog, collection data. Dog, get dog. Do we also use collection anywhere? Collection. I think we don't use it in here. So collection data, we don't use that. Yeah. Then I think this guy and then this guy, they are supposed to be here. I can also remove all of this to keep the flight there. So it should be 3, 4 for sure. No, 2 and 3. No, it's 3 and 4 because this is line number 1. Then we have this guy right here. So this is going to be starting with 0. So this is 11. And this is 17. So let's go with 17. Okay, so we added these two. We added the favorite flights. Good. Then we also need to create the toggle function. So this is 17. This is supposed to be 21. And this is supposed to be 30. No, 21, 27. So from 27 to 41. 27 to 41. 27 to 41. Coolio. So we do have the toggle flight created. Should I just put one? No, let's leave it. So we do have the Firestore, the delete dock here, the favorite flights here right now. We have async toggle as well that we have implemented. Good. Okay. Cool. And then we should also have the front end working on this. So the front end should be looking at this SVG. Hmm. Yeah. I think the toggle flight is gonna be there, but also thinking. Yeah, I think I would have to copy all of it. So let's see. Can I? No. Okay. So then I would have to change all of this, or not change, but yes, let's see. Okay. So in here, we should also have tab item, label home.component.html, tab item, and this one is supposed to be HTML. Let's go with HL config. There we go. Okay, so in this case, we should have 1, 2, 3. from 3 to 5 essentially. So let's add that. So now we should have both home component HTML and TS. And this basically says you gotta update all of it. So in this one, we did, let's see. I mean, I'm thinking. Let's actually try to at least add the path on a different line, maybe. I mean, it didn't really do anything. But hey, all right, let's do it like this. Let's also change it in the code as well. Cool. So then we can say something like from 3 to 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 7. Yeah. Okay. So in this case, so we did update the component and also the added the handler as well. So we add the toggle flight. We also use filter flight, blah blah blah. This is the important part. So we do the favorite using this. But the favorite itself, I think, also comes from the CSS, and that I have not. No, what? What? Where's my favorite thingy thingy? Is it in the flight card? No. I don't think I use this class at all. Do I? I don't think so. I don't think this is needed because I don't use a favorite class at all anywhere. And I'm using it in the wrong repository. Let's look at this. Yeah, I don't use the favorite class at all anywhere. So I think we should be fine without this. So I'm going to remove this guy from here and then also from the from here as well. Okay, let's see. So we have them favorited. Good. Okay, cool. So then if that's done, then the next thing that's remaining is obviously okay. So we talked about the docref. I think we should be writing about what happens now. With the above changes, you should be able to see the favorited lights having a heart icon on the left, on the right side of the card. If you look at the code, let's see the HTML code, home component. You can see that we in the toggle. Should we call it toggle flight? Should we call it toggle favorite flight? I think we should call it toggle flight as favorite, maybe. Flight as favorite. Maybe call it like this and this and this. So in this case, we can say in the toggle flight as favorite method, we check if the record contains the ID of the existing flights in the view. Of the flight being toggled, of the flight being marked, unmarked. If the record contains it, we delete the document from. Oh, wait a second. If we just do this, then we actually don't mark or unmark anything at all. So then should we um then should we say, because we are not using the get collections at the moment, we could say mark or unmark doing their own magic with that, which seems a bit weird because yeah, because if I comment out, the other one, give me 1 second. Let's say if I don't do this, right? Then you will not see the data coming in. So in here you can't really see those. If I mark anything or unmark anything, you don't see them as well. So that means it doesn't work. So should we add something to do that? And that should be then here, which means then I should say this dot favorite flights, or we could say something like delete this dot favorite flights flight ID. What? Oh yeah. So this is a record, right? And it's a signal as well. So we can do something like uh hmm. Okay. Then can we do something like I think this needs to go up. So we can say this dot or favorite flights. So then here we can say something like, hey SLDev, how's it going? So here we can then say div delete fav flights dot or flight ID, no, flight dot ID. Is it not the signals? Oh, but okay. So then the value should be here. Then this should be like this, and then I can say this dot favorite flights dot set favorite flights right, and then I should actually be, I mean I could do it in the end, to be honest, just like this, and then we can say in here, then we can say the same thing. So in this particular situation we can say fav flights flight dot id equals true, and there we go. So now even if I refresh and if I don't have something, I can click it again, and there you go. Click it again, there you go. But this is weird. If I click this, yeah, yeah, if I refresh this doesn't come back. So that is the problem. So here we can then add that, and then this one is supposed to be like this. Yarhamukallah. So this one is supposed to be like this huge. So then let's see. Here we need one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 more lines. So 41 to 47. There we go. Okay. So here we can say with the above changes, you should be able to see with the above changes, if you click any flight card, you should be able to see you should be able to see as favorited, also wise favorited, having a heart icon on the right side of the card. However, and if you click the card again, you can see it being unmarked as favorite, and you can inspect the toggle method to see the implementation. Notice how we are creating a shallow copy of this dot favorite flights signals value into a local object to update the object manually after adding and after unmarking as favorite. This will change in a later step. Okay, so this will change in a later step, we know. Here we can say note, there is one issue at the moment, and that is if you refresh the page, you cannot see your favorited flights anymore. However, since they are already, oh, here we could also say, oh, okay, we can also say or here we can also say maybe an idea, no, tip. As you unmark a flight as favorite, check the Firebase or Firestore database to see the record or entry or the to see the documents being created and deleted from it. Okay, so we can add that like here. Okay. All right, let's talk about a problem that we have. There is one problem though. Alert. As you unmark a flight as favorite, what did I do? Yeah, there we go. There's one issue at the moment, and at the moment and that is if you refresh the page, you can not see your favorite flights anymore. However, since they're already in the database, if you try to mark an existing marked flight, you will see no change on the flight card since it is only marked, since it's already marked. And if you click it one more time, then you can see the change. To fix this, we will get the favorited flights from Firebase when the on page load. Update the home component files as follows. Alrighty, let's update this. So we have a tabs, tab item, home component.html, and then home component.ts. So we are only going to do changes in the TS one. So let's get those from here, and then we can remove this guy. We can remove delete. We can remove this guy, and then also just add this one. And yeah, I think I can copy all of this, go here. Where have I left it? This one. So now there we go. Awesome. Cool. So I can copy this guy to the documentation, and here, what did you do? TS. Okay, so what does this TS look like? So we can probably copy the comment one, this guy. So we can say, hey, we do have this guy right here. We don't want anything else from here. HL config should be 1, 2, 3. So we do have 3 right here. We should have this guy goes in. And then we have this line, and then we also have like these as well, but we will keep them. So in this situation, I should probably just go and say, hey, this is 3 on line number 6. Sorry, it starts from from 4 or 3, so to say. So in this case, okay, so this is 1, this is 11, 21, and this is 31, and 30, and 29. So we start from 29, and then we go to 30, 38, no, 37. So 31 to 37, is that what I just said? To 37. Let's see. So this one has to update. Then you got this one. No, we need to remove the last one and add 2 more in the beginning. So yeah, it was 29. 29 to 36. Okay. Coolio. So we do add this, and then we have 36, 36, 37, 38, 39. From 39 to, and this is 39. This is 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 54, 49 to 54. So 49, 54. Not 49 actually. What did I do? It was 29 or 49, 39 or 49. Okay, now I'm just gonna guess. So yes, it starts from right here. So 39 to this. Okay. So in here, we also would have to ensure that they understand that we've removed um, a bunch of code from. So here we can add. With the above change, or actually in here we can add a note. Note. Note that we have modified function to remove manually updating the this dot favorited flights signal as we are listening, as we now are listening to the collection data, which automatically updates the signal for us. Cool. So then we have it right here. Uh, with the above change, duh, duh, duh. Now toggle or mark unmark flights as favorite, and even if you refresh the page, you will still see them as favorited as we load the favorited flights from Firebase on page load, Firestore on page load. Okay. And then we can say something like, yay, successfully built your first application your first Angular application with HTTP calls, signals, and Firebase Firestore. It is now time to deploy the application. Mm, deploying the app. So in this case, we do have deploying the app. I think we should make this guy deploying the app. Deploy the application. I think we can simply say run the following command to deploy the Angular app. And we can go here, and I think we can simply say something like, if I go to the package.json, package.json, we should have something like deploy, or do we have? No, I think if we just run ng deploy, this should make it work for us, right? Let's see. Okay, let's add this as well. Bash ng deploy. All right, my PC just started talking to me, so I think it's going to deploy this. And I think then we should be good. Cannot select Firebase project. Why? Firebase login. I'm already logged in though, right? Uh, should I say something like Firebase sync? Um, or should I search for the exact error that I just got? Let's see. Can deploy. So Firebase list, and here we can say Firebase list. What? It says list is not a Firebase command. Firebase help. I think it's called Firebase apps or what? It's called apps list now. Firebase apps list. See Firebase debug log. Where's the debug log? There you go. The caller does not have permission. Okay. Command requires scopes email, OpenID, platform read only, blah blah blah. Okay. Hmm. Mm, maybe let's try to do logout. Firebase logout. Firebase log in. Let's see. Go with this. Allow. Let's go with apps list. Still does not do it. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, I have the service account, so I should be able to deploy this, to be honest. Mm-hmm. Or is it projects list? Aha, okay. Firebase projects list. That can work. Okay. So then I can, so if I run now, ng deploy, will it work? Cannot select Firebase project, ng flight scanner. Oh, we have not specified it. Is that because? Okay, maybe it's because of that. So Firebase or console.firebase.google.com. Let's see. Flight scanner. Oh, Where's the hosting? Uh, do, 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 do. Yeah, I have not set the hosting. That's why it doesn't allow hosting. So I'm gonna do it now. I'm gonna remove this so I can actually do it. Firebase deploy. Yarhamdulillah. Okay. Okay. Hmm. I'm gonna also see. Damn. Okay. So I'm gonna quickly. I think I'm gonna delete all these. I think. Delete collection. Delete it. Flights. Delete collection. Delete it. Don't want it. Okay. How many documents did I create? A lot. Damn. Okay. I'm gonna run out of my quota for sure. We'll see. But in any case, if I try to deploy now, I think it should just work. Let's see. What? Okay, so let's check one more thing. First, if I refresh the app now, how am I getting the data if I don't have the data here? What's happening? is it is it is it a different project? Mm, 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 mm. So this is ng flight scanner, okay? If I try to do a command shift R, this is what I get back. And this is gonna be response from the API, flights, blah, blah, blah. And if I look at my data right now, this is the web app, yes. Firestore has had no concurrent. What are we talking about? Give me 1 second. I need to see where this is connected really. What are we talking about here? Environments, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's see. Is this the same or not? It's not the same. Why the heck is it not the same? Is it because I've created this into an other? Let's see. Console. No. Console.firebase. Google.com. No, it's not the one. So that's really weird. That's a problem. So my Firebase target hosting is ngFlight Scanner. Okay, that means I have my wrong API key at least. So that means I should not have the environment anywhere. So this is absolutely wrong. And I have this in the in the Firebase RC as well and in here as well. So I gotta change that. Let's change that. So I think it's just ngFlight Scanner, and then I think it should be good. Change this, remove the environment, blah blah blah. All right, let's see now. Let's see now if we are able to deploy this guy. I think we should be good. So I had the wrong configuration for Firebase. That's not bad. During the preview, blah blah blah. Cool. So now I think it should. Yeah, I think we should be good now. Duh. Alrighty, there we go. Let's see, ng-flight scanner, web.app. Try it. Yay, if I refresh the page, is it okay? Cool, cool, cool. About refresh, super nice. This is live now. We can also go ahead and do this and this. There we go. And I have to now go here and this week. All right, cool. So now I think this should work. Cool. Awesome. Okay, cool. So now I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you everyone who joined. I'm gonna just finalize this and add the documentation and then I'll leave. So thank you and I'm gonna see you next time.